Hey there, this is Pastor Joe from Southwest Lutheran Church, and I'm here today with another devotional thought, another great book to read. This is what I've been reading lately. It's called Good Faith by Dave Kinnaman and Gabe Lyons, and I love the subtitle here. It's Being a Christian When Society Thinks You're Irrelevant and Extreme. And I think that's really true. I got to say that for me as a pastor, one of the things I've had to come to grips with so that I can be an effective pastor for the people in my congregation and also an effective evangelist for those outside of our congregation is to recognize that Christianity is no longer the center of American society where I live, right? I mean, maybe that was true 50 years ago, 40 or 30, even 20 years ago. Christianity was still kind of this common shared foundation for so much of American society. And if you weren't, Christian in some way, it was kind of like you were on the edge of society. Well, now that situation is reversed. And so that now, culturally speaking, here in America, to be a Christian, someone who believes in the Bible, who follows Jesus, who practices life as best you can in the ways that Jesus calls us to live, you are going to be seen as either irrelevant or extreme. Irrelevant, right, because you're focused on heavenly things, you're focused on religious things, you're focused on worship and Bible study and all this stuff that people will look at and say, that's not helpful for us today because they don't see the connection between faith and life. Or they'll say you're extreme, right, because they do see a connection, but they say, wow, look at how different you are as Christians practice a biblical ethical lifestyle. As people, as Christians, live differently, right? They'll say, well, you're different and you're extreme in how you approach relationships and how you approach sex and how you approach giving and saving and how you approach family and how you approach so many things, right? So how do we live our faith when society sees us as irrelevant and extreme? And I would say Kinnaman and Lyons, they have a lot of good stuff to say about that. So I'd encourage you to read this book. But let me just say what they kind of sum up is they say there's an equation here, right? And they say it's about loving, believing, and living. Love your neighbor, no questions asked. Sounds kind of like Jesus. Believe biblical truth because it is truth. Sounds pretty solid to me. And then live these two things out, right? Bring together belief and love in a person, in a community, in a congregation, and that's how we can be good faith Christians. Or as they say it, to be a counterculture for the common good. And I think that's a wonderful vision to aspire to. And so if this is true, right, that our American society does see Christianity as irrelevant and extreme, and I think that's true, here's a devotional question for you to think about and answer today. How can we be people who, and they share this toward the end of the book, how can we be people who have a firm center and soft edges? In other words, we are people who hang on firmly to biblical truth and our identity in Christ and who He has made us to be. And yet our conviction does not cause us to be hard-edged, right, and stony-faced toward the people around us. How can we be people also with soft edges so that people feel safe, people feel welcomed, people feel like they can approach us and be loved by us, even though they know who we are as Christians, as believers. So here's your question. How can we practice hospitality and humility so that people will know that they are safe enough to come near us and to truly be known? And when people feel like they are truly known by us and yet still loved by us, that's when we can be good faith Christians and love and serve and care for them as Jesus would have us love and serve and care. And you know what? I believe that when we do that sort of stuff, then there will be an evangelistic opportunity. Not that we love people in order to convert them, but when we do the right things, live as Jesus calls us to live, we stand out as people of good faith. And there's an opportunity to show people why Jesus makes a difference in our lives. So I'd love to know, what do you think about that question? What do you think about the premise? You want to have a conversation? I'd love to have that. So leave your comments down below. How can we be good faith Christians? Until next time, take care and God bless. Have a great day.